All right, guys, it is cold in Colorado, like I've been saying on the last 3 podcasts, and we're talking snowmobiles again this week. The one and only AJ is back, so we're going to talk about what we think is the perfect sled build for this upcoming season. So let's jump right into it.
Look, I don't want to talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Assess. As stated before, we're talking about snowmobiles again, and AJ, the myth, the man, the legend, is back. So, AJ, what the heck have you been doing, man? I haven't seen you in like 6 months.
I know. What's up, guys? It feels like it's been forever since I've been here. You might hear a different sound in my voice. It's because I was going under some surgeries, getting a voice change and all that. But no, it was just really hunting, and I had a good muzzleloader hunt with my dad, and then
Speak on that real quick.
yeah, so we had that Unit 1 muzzleloader tag, and we had a really good time. We chased a really big bull. I'll send a picture to Brent to kind of like add into the video here. Maybe he'll show a clip of it, and
If you're watching on YouTube.
if you're watching on YouTube, that is. And yeah, we were right on the Utah line with this bull, and that's just where he decided to live. And we were battling him either Utah, Colorado, and then a bunch of private mixed in there. And we got on him 4 different times, and just different wind and different weird things happened. Had a landowner giving us a fit, and just kind of struggled to get him killed. So we went ahead and we didn't really get a go ahead, but we finished that hunt because we ran out of days and never got him. So had a fun time, chased him really 9 days in a straight, saw him every time, and then we got back and turned right around like 5 days later to go guide for rifle season, and then just got back 2 days ago, and here we are shooting a pod for this week. So
Yep. Killed some massive bulls.
Yeah, I had 2 different hunters that I helped. One was my hunter specifically, got a really nice bull with him, and then got to have his dad and his grandpa with him. He was a 17-year-old kid. It was his senior year hunt that his grandpa had paid for him for, and he came out and had a great time and got a really nice bull. And then once I got him done, I started helping all the other guys in camp, and we were able to fill out. We got 5. I was the first one to kill, so helped kind of with all of those in some sort of way, and got another really, really good bull killed in there then. So
What was the biggest one
to
that
Tucker.
you had? Yeah.
He's a podcast listener for us.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Tucker.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest you think you got score-wise?
It's like he's high 350s, so he's almost 360. He was a little broken, so he'd be 360 if he's all there, but he was high 350s.
Yeah, that's a monster.
Yeah, he was a real good bull.
Yep. So AJ's back. We are going to talk about, for our own sakes and for your guys' sakes, just kind of sled builds. So we've talked about a couple different things specifically, but we're going to kind of tie everything all together, and just which chariot is built for us, and kind of what we put on them, why we put it on them, and what you probably should put on yours or think about putting on yours if you're running similar sleds, doing similar, riding styles. So we can just jump right into it and kind of assess, if you will.
Yeah, so at first, let's just break down like what sleds we're gonna run. So I'm gonna keep the sled that I had last winter, which would be a 23 Polaris Chaos, regular 850 with a 146 track with a 2.6 under it. I'm going to keep that sled for this year just as a like backup / I might steal some parts off of it at some point. I'll get into that. But it's just going to be a backup and then a stock sled. And then I'll plan on turning it to like a full jumping sled this spring once we get into that stuff. The next sled that I have on order, it's going to be a 24 Polaris 155 boost with the 275 track. I didn't want to go 325. I just feel like the 275 is an all-around track that for any snow, any type of weather, I figured like it would eat the best. So I decided to go that route.
Yeah, and I talked about that on a pod when you were gone on track length.
Yeah, I listened to that. And
yeah, I think the 275 for if you have one sled, and I know there's a lot of hype around the 3.25. I think a lot of it is just it's new.
Yep, I'd like to see it prove itself, right? Like once it proves itself, great. But I've seen a lot of those taller lug tracks too. Not just high speed, but different heat and stuff like that. Lugs just they delaminate and they rip off and fly everywhere. And as everyone knows, tracks aren't cheap. So I don't, until it proves itself, I'm going to let it go for a little bit. So
yeah, I think the 2.75, if I can only have one, is my choice. But I know a lot of people would disagree with that. I know at the snow show this last weekend, Polaris is putting out a lot of stuff on their Instagram stories about the 3.25. So I'm kind of interested to see, how that works. We'll get into what I think about all that and what I'm going to do, but we'll let AJ run with it.
So yeah, durability is the biggest thing on that track. Why I went 275, especially with the different. We're gonna go up to Canada and ride, just around here locally, and then try to hit Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana throughout the winter as well. So I just figured it'd be an all-around good track for doing that, and then having that backup 146. My initial plan, I'll just kind of like jump in here, and we'll chime back in for. Well, I don't know. Maybe you should say what your sleds are going to be, and then we can get into the building them. What do you say?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so as a lot of you know, last year I tried the Lynx out. I have nothing bad to say about the Lynx, except I'm not used to it. I'm not used to how it steers. So the original plan in the spring was to have both sides of brands. And I'm not set on anything that I'm going to do. But what I'm thinking now is one of two things. One, just have a one snowmobile fleet, which makes me nervous because I'm always messing something up when it comes to breaking stuff. But if I'm going to have one sled, it's going to be that sled, which is a 155, 2.75 boost.
I second that motion.
What?
I second that motion as a sled to have.
Yeah, it's a beast. It's all around. I don't think there's a better sled on the market right now. So I like that for all around. But I'm going to get into what I might do, just kind of the thinking behind it. So I'm thinking maybe take this sled, which is a 155, and chop the tunnel. Me and AJ have talked about this. Chop the tunnel and throw a 146 under this sled. So then I'd have, on the Polaris side of things, a 146 big boost, a tuned boost. And I know Ski-Doo has theirs from the factory, 146 boosted. Polaris doesn't yet. I'm sure that'll happen next year. So it would be a 146 big boost, and then throw like Ice Age rails under it. I'm not going to get too much into the build. We'll get into that in a second. And then the second one would be the exact opposite side of the spectrum, just like I talked about in one of the other podcasts about track length. And that would be to have a 165 boost. And so obviously that's costly. I don't know if I'll do that, but I might. The other thing is then I'd have exact opposite sleds. One would be like really playful, a lot of power. One would be, for those days that is just super deep that I don't want to be on a 146. I think a lot of people talk about like 165 is just not good for bow ties and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, it might not be the best, but the thing is what I want to be able to do is doesn't matter what condition, I have the best weapon, I feel like, for the job. So if it's normal snow, if it's hard snow, the 146, if it's just crazy deep like it was almost every day last year, have a 165. And the reason why is that everyone's like, well, it's not as playful. It's like, I get that, but also I can build speed like considerably better. And by that, I mean, if I want to hit a cornice up at, it's super deep and I want to hit a cornice and have speed coming off of it, with a 165, I feel like I'm able to do that a lot better. And so it just makes like days that you could do on a 55 or a 46 just easier and there's more possibilities with having something that floats like a 165 and something that just is built for those deep, deep days. And talking about track length, I'm thinking that maybe a 65 to 3.25, if I could find a leftover snow check of one of those, that'd be great. Or I would be happy on a 275. But so that's kind of my two options right now is maybe changing the fleet to Polaris and then having the 146 boost and the 165 boost.
Yep. And I think something on that, like we've really talked a lot on between us two, is like the 146 after me riding it all winter. When our main goal is to get content for you guys to see. So when we're getting that content, you watch that 146 And like the stock 146 just kind of like digs through the snow and doesn't like want to, like it comes around, but it's like it just chews through the snow, but it doesn't look super cool on camera. 155, it seems like you can get a lot of speed and you can get a lot of pop out of it and everything like that, but it still kind of chews a little bit on a stalker. You throw a boost 155 and it'll come out of the snow, and it, you know, it gives you a pretty good show. Like it's a good happy medium, I feel like, within control and playfulness and good snow conditions or bad snow conditions, whatever. You can do a lot with that 155. Now you go completely back the other way, a 146 boost, and you're gonna, you know, I feel like you might have so much power that you're gonna be able to just like hop it out of the snow. Like you're gonna be able to bunny hop it out of the snow almost, where you might be able to get enough pop if you got a boost 146. But then clear on the other side of the spectrum, where he's gonna go with a 165 boost, is when you are on a 165 boost and you are like, if you're pulling a reentry or a hop over or anything like that, like feel like you're on a skyscraper.
Yeah.
Like
when you're used to the shorter track.
Yeah. When you're used to a short track and then you get on that thing. And then like when you look in the camera, you see that and you go, wow, that thing really like it's long coming out of that snow. It looks and feels like. So I think that puts on a little bit more of a show for the camera when you have that longer track, if you can execute those things. And that's going to be kind of the goal, is just making sure to execute with the right sled and the right days.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, let's be honest, I don't think it makes that big of a difference. I mean, I think like a 146 to 165 makes a huge difference, but like the 55 is really good. But the thing is like having a 146 and a 155 or a 155 and a 165, I feel like that's just too close together. When you're spending that kind of money, it's like you want, or at least me, I want like polar opposites. I want one that is going to do this really well and one that is going to do this really well. And then depending on the day, depending on the snow conditions, depending where we're going, I'm going to take the sled that fits that job the best. But yeah, I was watching film yesterday. I was editing some videos for Instagram, and there was a lot of days where the 55 gets around perfectly fine in the deep, deep, deep snow with that setup. No, bog, nothing. I mean, it'll get around, but here's the thing. I don't want to get around. I want to fly around. And not only that, I was watching a video of me last year. It was super, super deep. And like, you guys got to think, you know, a lot of you are out east or whatever, and the snow is, you're at low elevations and there's not as much snow. Like, we get a ton of snow out here, and we're running, I mean, like where we ride a lot is 11,000 feet. So not black, but like buff. You can get to 11 pretty easy.
Well, there's a lot of places last year on Black Mountain, our little local mountain here, that I had my avalanche probe, which is 10'6", and I couldn't find bottom with it. You know? So, I mean, we're in a deep, deep base.
Yeah. And I mean, the conditions, it's high elevation, it's cold, it's deep. And so I feel like the 165 is just, it's not going to be as big of a deal as just being able to get to the top of the cornice faster and be able to get more pop off the cornice or get more pop off a jump when it's super deep. It's not, for me, it's not about like not getting stuck or whatever like that, or a sled that's easier to ride. It is solely for, I want to get somewhere faster and be carrying more speed to hit something. And I feel like a 65 will allow me to do that.
Yeah. I can agree with that. That's, you know, that is one way to get that speed, is you'll have that much more traction, especially with that 325 on that track, or on that sled. If you can get it, it will carry that speed into those hits and be a lot better for you, I think.
Yeah.
So, well, let's break into the builds a little bit. So the 146, I'm going to keep it probably pretty basic just for what it is, because I might end up building that sled out in the springtime. That's not going to be my like primary sled that I ride this year until we maybe start jumping. I really think that'll be my jumping sled.
Which is like, dude, that is like a perfect jumping sled.
Yeah, it's
even how it is.
Yeah, even how it is, like it's a good jumping sled. Like I'd like to put like maybe an exhaust. Like right now it's bone stock. So like if I
like
put an bone stock, like it's electric start with a heavy battery. It's you know, stock exhaust, the whole 9 yards. So I'd like to get an exhaust on it. It's got a little
what
clutching.
Exhaust?
I'll most likely, for it, I don't know. I've debated going to even the twin pipe setup on it. I don't know.
Really?
I think twin pipe set would be pretty sweet. I haven't
Dude,
for
they
sure
sound
decided
sick,
on
but
that.
bro, it's like for me,
It's a lot of money
it's a
for not a
ton
lot
of
of gain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But dude,
So-
that sound is nice.
Yeah, it sounds so sweet. So like if I was for sure if I wasn't gonna go boost this year, I was definitely gonna dump that money into it and do like motor work and twin pipes. But
You said if you weren't
if
going
I
boost.
weren't going
Yeah,
boost,
yeah.
but with the boost this year, I might drop so much money into it that like this sled might get neglected a little bit. I'll probably just do a muffler, maybe like a Diamond S or something like that.
Gotcha.
Is what just get rid of some weight is what I'm thinking, on that side. And then probably throw a lithium battery in it just because you don't have that weight when you're jumping then. But
Dude, okay, hold on.
yep.
It is pretty interesting how much we were talking about it with Marcus, how much like the weight thing, like taking bags off and everything like that, like your backpack, all
Yep.
that stuff. Like you guys take everything off when you're
Yeah.
gonna hit a jump.
So when you're
to
jumping-
me, it's like that's your. If I hit the handlebars, I want all that stuff on me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really weird thing. Like, I don't know. I hate that my backpack and my chest protector is the same because I'd love to jump with my chest protector on, but that backpack's so heavy. Like when I have that on me, it's another at least 50 pounds probably with all my stuff in it. So with the airbag and all that, like it's just heavy.
And the canister.
And the canister, all that, like it's so heavy. That's 50 more pounds compressing that suspension, which like it just bottoms everything out. And then you have that tunnel bag on the back. I don't know about you guys, but I have a massive tunnel bag. It's full of shit. Like there's a lot of snacks in there. There's a lot of tools in there. There's everything you can think of. So like that thing is probably like almost another 50 pounds, So you're adding 100 pounds that's compressing that suspension. And then also the tunnel bag, like it'll wreck your tunnel. It'll bend your tunnel. So that's so much weight just compressing and hitting, So
And dude, then when I jump, I have my bag on. I'm already like 100 pounds heavier than you. Then I have a camera case. It's like 200 pounds on the back. I'm just boom.
boom. That's why Brent's always flying like nose high. All his weight's
just
in the back.
Nah.
Yeah. So, and I don't know, like that's one of those things that I catch a little bit of a hard time on is running an electric start even, but I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things that I'm willing to give that weight. All right, guys. Sorry, we had some camera issues there. We're back here again. So back to the battery on the snowmobiles. On the 146, I will be doing a lithium battery. I'm a huge supporter of having an electric start. I love having an electric start on my sled. I wish we had things like BRP with the shot because that's no extra added weight really other than some wires. But since we can't have that, since patents and all that shit, I guess, the next best thing is electric start. It's worth it for me being a guide. You get tired pulling on skis. Also, just even if you're in an awkward position on the hill or you're just tired at the end of the day or whatever, I just feel like it's worth it to have electric start. So I personally run an electric start on all my sleds. I will have a lithium battery on that 146, a silencer to get rid of some weight, and then I will play with some clutching. I'll most likely use whatever weights VOHK recommends for the boost, and then I'll just get the stock size for the 146. That way I can have one set of weights with me when we're traveling and everything like that for adjusting that weight for the different elevations we're riding. Now, that'll kind of finish out the 146 except for a set of Fox shocks that I bought. They are going to be the QSs, so they're not the electronic or anything like that. They just got the knob on them for QS3s. So you got 3 different settings, soft, medium, hard, and then you have the rear shock has soft, medium, and then lockout. So on that 146, when I put those on that, you might be able to do some gnarly stuff on lockout. I feel like getting up things and then getting intense speed to hit like different drifts and stuff. Otherwise, those shocks probably will not hit that sled until springtime when I'm jumping. Those shocks were initially bought for the boost, so not really on the 146 build, but it'll just be the 146 will be a backup sled and just keep her, up and ready for jumping. Now for the boost, I will be running those Fox shocks on it, and the biggest thing why I wanted them was I can have them soft so that it gets up on the snow with the air pressure, since you can adjust the air pressure. So it'll get up on the snow, float, do whatever you want with it on those days. But then if you want to go get Cindy with it even in the afternoon or in the springtime, whatever, all you gotta do is give those suckers a few pumps, give it some more pounds, and increase that ride height. That was probably my biggest complaint when I switched to Polaris and through last winter was I was bottoming the shocks out loading it in the trailer, jumping onto the trail.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Brent has had those same issues there.
Yeah, and think about it with a camera case, a heavy bag, and then just being a gosh darn sturdy Husky Sun gun. There's a lot more weight, and dude, yeah, even on whoops on the trail, I mean, I'm just bottoming that thing out, and they're cranked.
Oh yeah, you run
right.
stiff as you can, and it's still not enough. So
Yeah.
that's where, you know, we're both looking at doing different shocks, and I chose to go the Fox route, and that's what I'm going to try this winter and see how they work. They're the Chris Brand edition, lightweight, whatever. That stuff don't matter to me. As long as I can put air to them, I'm happy. So I can adjust that on the fly and be happy. But the boost, it is going to be probably a pretty much spit image of when Brent is on camera, the sled behind him. I love that sled. Yep, right there.
This.
Yep, that's it right there. Love it. I'll do Boondocker exhaust into the tunnel dump, and then we'll have a nice hot lunch muff pot on that sucker so I can cook up some good meals.
Cook up some elk steak.
Yeah, you know, little elk tips in there, whatever works. So that'll be the first thing, so it's not capping off anything like that. It's one of those problems turbos have. I'd like to do an internal intake screen. That way, on deep days, if we have any of those with Hope, I won't be clogging off. That's something players are notorious for, is on the sides. There's where their intake's at. They'll kind of suffocate themselves out. I don't want to be bogging, so I'll have an intake on the inside as well. And then
is that like cutting a hole in the airbox?
Yeah, cut a hole in the airbox.
That's what I did on that
over it.
Yep.
And some people are like 50-50 on that, because then you're pulling hot air from like the engine bay. But for me, I'd rather pull hot air than no air at all. So it's like a little bit of the safety, a little bit of like, it'll piss me off if that sled bogs. So that is going to be the two, like air in, air outs. I will run stock hood. I know Brent runs the skin, so I'll just run the stock hood with the headlight and all that nonsense. And then I will do the WOHK 100 low lead tune, and then whatever clutching he advises from that point. I'm not really 100% sure what that clutching is, but whatever that clutching he advises from there. So it'll be his tune, his clutching, and then that way they're adjustable weights, so I can adjust those as we go to Canada, as we go to Utah, Wyoming, here at home, whatever. I can keep that thing tuned up wherever we need to be so it's running at its peak. So suspension, exhaust, tune, and then that sled will be pretty well complete probably for the winter, except for I might throw a few extra add-ons here and there. Not really sure, you know, about that. Ski rubbers, you know, get a set of DuraPro ski rubbers in it. And then I run the Polaris handlebar bag. I like to have my snacks in front of me and my sunglasses. And then on the back, I run the big Polaris bag as well. It's kind of hard. This year, that setup may change a little bit since I'll be running more camera gear. I want to protect that stuff with that investment. But we'll see. It'll be a very similar bag setup, very tall, big bag, so I can have all that extra stuff. I pack extra primary spring and gloves, goggles, etc. So tools, the whole 9 yards.
Don't you carry like a Leatherman in your pocket?
Oh yeah, I got a Leatherman right now. I mean, pull the Leatherman out. On YouTube, there's a Leatherman. There's a flashlight. It goes everywhere with me every day.
Yeah, so he's always prepared.
We always have those two, but I have a full toolkit in the sled, and especially riding with Brent. You know, on the back of his sled, he's just got a full camera bag. So like, he's the camera dude. I got to have the tools. So we'll kind of work more in a circle of that. He may have to pack a camera for me or something on days, but I make sure if I got to pack the snacks and the tools, then I can do that. But he's got the camera gear usually. So
yep.
But,
and then is that it?
That's pretty much everything on that sled that I'll be doing. You know, there might be it'll have the lithium battery in it, and there'll be a little bit of light stuff.
Did you get the 7S display on yours?
I did do the 7S.
Yeah, the
display,
7S is sick. I like the 7S.
And then like both my 146 has mid bars, and then I ordered this boost with low bars. I don't love low bars, but I might try to like force myself to like them a little bit this year if we don't do a handlebar sponsor. But I figured if anything, if I buy the low bars, I can always put like an inch block riser or something under it to get it up. So
I like the low bars.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of like hunches me over. I used to like that, but now I don't know. I kind of almost like that, like floating shoulder
Yeah,
position.
but if the boost is like this all the time,
Then you're really in your chest.
Yeah.
Don't need that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna try the low bars, see how I like that on that sled, but I'll probably pack that 1 inch thing just in case it gets squirrely on me and get it back to where I like it. But that's probably the only real like thing I'm not really super set on is like bar height or bars, going into the winter. And then I'll wrap at least one of them, if not both of them, depending upon how things are going this winter for sure.
What are you gonna go, Arctic Effects or ECD or?
It's still undecided. So if you guys are looking for someone to sponsor, he's right here.
Yeah.
We can get you on the podcast. Maybe I'll wear your shirt.
Yeah, wear your shirt. Yeah, exactly.
But
All right.
yeah,
Should I jump in?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so with this sled, I'll just briefly, he kind of talked about how it's set up. So aftermarket wise, this sled has skins hood. It has the intake thing. The VOHK shop puts that on when they're doing their stuff. The frog skin on the airbox.
Yep.
And then, okay, tuning wise, I'm running the 100 LL non-intercooled tune, which I would like to get an intercooler this year, but I think I don't need that much power. This thing's dialed in how it is. So they put different weights in it, heavier weights, and then so when you get a tune from the VOHK shop, what they do is they give you a VTI, which is it's basically a computer that you plug in. You can flash your sled, and then what's cool too is you can data log, however you want to call it, however you want to say it. So what that means is every sled runs a little bit different with the aftermarket stuff that you have on it. And so if you're having my sled's kind of doing this wonky thing, you just data log yourself riding basically. Then you send the tune in to Eric, and he can work the kinks out if there are any kinks. I've never had a kink, but if there are any kinks or something weird going on, which is rare, those guys have everything pretty dialed. They'll work it out of the tune and then send you a new file to then flash your sled to. So it's pretty cool with that device. The other thing you can do is if you have multiple sleds, you can buy one computer and then buy licenses for other tunes. So reach out to them. What else is on my sled? ECD wrap. I love ECD. Shout out to ECD. Thank you guys. I think it looks sick. It's held up really well. And even me being kind of a mechanical idiot, I don't know if it's called mechanical when you're putting on a wrap, but I could even figure out that wrap. So that says something.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, it is. But what else is on that sled? Okay, Boondocker tunnel dump. That's on there now. It sounds sick. Doesn't cap off. No complaints there. So I'm going to keep that. I'll run that on any boost that I get. And then I'm trying to think what else is on that sled right now.
DuraPro tether,
DuraPro
ski
yeah,
rubbers.
DuraPro tether, DuraPro ski rubbers. I like the DuraPro tether because if you guys have seen, I'm constantly falling off my sled, so it just gets tedious to have to unpack the factory tether and then put it back on. And Polaris had the magnetic tether, It was not magnetic like DuraPro. You still had to fidget with it. DuraPro, you get it anywhere near there, and it snaps so hard that it'll kick the snow out. So I really, really like the DuraPro. DuraPro ski rubbers, I'll blow a stock rubber in the first 10 minutes because I'll flag pull it, and just get those out, put DuraPros in. And then DuraPro's good they have a lifetime warranty, so you buy one set and it's good for a long time. I'm trying to think what else. I'll probably run RSI bars. I like RSI bars. I like where they put you over the sled. The only thing, and they came out, I got these too late in the season to put them on last year, and I just don't like putting things on. And that is, RSI came out with, I think it's called a Slim Jim bar. And so my only complaint about the RSI bars versus the Polaris bars is the RSI with that heavy grip and grip heaters and everything like that, it feels like they're too thick for my hand. I like a thin bar. And so they came out with a tapered thin bar that is, I think it's pretty close to the Polaris. And it feels way better in the hand. So I'll be running those. And then the whole RSI setup, the riser, all the stuff. And then I need to put that on. So then getting into the stuff I'm going to put on that sled, I ordered a set of Swedish Gold Öhlins suspension. I'm interested to try. Who knows if I'll get them. Öhlins is really hard to get, it seems like. And then I want to run on, well, I'll get into that in a second. So I'll run Öhlins, and then I'll end up, swapping the whole skid out if I'm going to make it a 146, if I decide to do that. So that'll be Ice Age bomber rails. My budget doesn't allow for the Next Tech carbon skid, but I'll do the Ice Age bomber rails in a 146, and then I'll probably just go with the Polaris 146 track, the factory one. 2.6, yeah, it's a 2.6, and we'll chop the tunnel, and then I'll have to come up with a different solution for a camera case on that, because my camera case now takes up the whole tunnel. It's a custom built system where it uses quick release from Polaris factory to go on and off, which I like because, like I've talked about before, I don't want to leave thousands and thousands of dollars in camera gear, outside or on the sled when we're in a restaurant, or if we're at a cabin, just a pain in the butt to get it off. I just want to be able to click it off and take it inside and charge everything, let it warm up.
Or even on your back, like in your backpack, you fall off enough.
Yeah, I used to run a real small camera in my backpack, and yeah, that's not the way to go. And plus, cameras like with the ones we have now, that with a lens is pretty heavy, so I don't want that on my back. I'll just poor sled, but it's gonna hold it. So going to the 165, I'll probably wait to see how I like those Öhlins, but I'm probably not gonna be able to get my hands on. I don't even know if I can get my hands on one pair. Hopefully, it looks like my order's confirmed, but I'm not sure. So I'm probably gonna have to run different suspension on that, and I'm not gonna run stock suspension. So I might do Fox Air on that, like AJ has. And then,
which will win.
Yeah. And then well, we'll see. We'll see. I've heard a lot of good things about the Öhlins shocks. Same with Fox. So, and so I'll do the whole tune thing, on that. Do all the VOHK goodies, the clutching, all that stuff. Probably wrap it. I like ECD wraps. I'm trying to think what else. I probably won't do a skins hood on that. I'll probably just leave it. So if I'm going to go out and night ride one night or whatever, I can have lights on one snowmobile. And I'm trying to think what else. Boondocker, exhaust. Yep, that's the way to go.
You think you're going to go with just the regular tune, or are you going to go with the intercooled tune?
Dude, I don't know. I want to go with the intercooled tune. I need to see the cost on that.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that intercooled tune is insane. But
yeah. But you're dumping a lot of money at that point with two sled builds.
With two sleds. Sure. And I feel like, it's like we talked about, I feel like I'd be on that 146 99% of the time.
You're probably going to. The way you like to ride, I think that's going to be the ticket. And I might jump in here for just a second.
No, go ahead.
That's why I'm thinking like this 146 sled might even just like be put on the back burner this winter, because once Brent builds this 146 boost, I'm going to be like, well, I've got all the parts there. Why don't I just throw that on this thing?
Yeah.
So if it's as rowdy and as fun as what I think it's going to be, I might just convert that 146. I'll take all the goodies off it right to that boost, and I'll just throw that 155 on that, on the 146 chassis essentially, and just ride it a little bit this winter. It'll all get converted back at some point, especially for jump season. But if his 146 is that rowdy as we're thinking, I might have to do that switch too.
Yeah, it's like I really don't want, like in the 146 build, I do not want functionality at all.
Yep.
I just want something that is just ridiculous to ride, like almost miserable to ride. Just can't keep the skis on the ground. Just comes over with a blip of a throttle. Like that's what I want for that sled, like to do filming on, just a toy. Just a little toy to flip around in the snow.
Yep.
So, and then on the 165, I'm trying to think, camera case mounting will have to be welded and powder coated for that. I'm trying to think what else. what I need to do to that 165?
It'll pretty much just be like a copy and paste of this one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, pretty much same thing, just in the 165 and let her eat from there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I mean, in reality, I don't think our sled builds are super crazy, but they're functional.
They're functional, like especially as much as we ride, like putting 1,500 miles on a sled at minimum a year, and we're probably gonna do more this year. So like putting that many miles on here, you need something that is trustworthy, and when you pull the rope or turn the key, it starts. And this is durable. A setup that, durable, that just works. So as it might not be the most crazy thing, I can guarantee you they will hold up, last, and it's going to be a good time. Like they're rowdy enough. Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, you don't even need to do anything except, I mean, if you're hitting stuff hard, I would do suspension. But these sleds hey Ralphie, these sleds out of the box are way too capable for 99% of us. And, you know, everyone says 146 is such an unfunctional sled. It's like, yeah, I definitely agree. It's definitely not the only sled to have in your fleet, in my opinion. But, dude, I feel like a 146 would be so fun for the type of stuff we like to do. So,
And for you people out there that are going to hate it, like if it's absolutely ridiculous and stupid and we make a video and it's stupid and we hate it, like he has all the 155 stuff still. Like we will switch it back. Like it's an experiment we're going to try with the players. Who knows if it'll work? It's obviously the trend that BRP set, and the 146 is awesome stock, so we only think it can be awesome.
The thing that's going to suck is I'm going to build this sled, and then they're going to come out with the factory 146 boost next year. I guarantee
you don't even have a special, anything. Yeah,
it's not going to be a cool sled. It's just going to be, But still, it'll be a good jumping sled, too.
Absolutely. I think it's going to really help your jumping game with that 146.
Yep. So that's kind of my plan. Probably, focus more on the 146 build than the 165, just because I feel like I'm going to spend more time on it. But who knows? Maybe I hate it and ride the 65 a lot. Who knows? Who knows if I'll even get a 65? But that's just kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, it's kind of the sled builds we got planned. Then it'll be kind of like that's the meat of what we're going to be doing. But some of that stuff is obviously out to change, just with being able to get parts, being able to get sleds, etc. I know Brent's got a couple other options like sleds ordered right now and different things, and what it'll take and not. But that's I feel like that 165 325 is one of those ones that, I mean, there's people that order them, but then when they come in, they don't seem to take them. It always feels like there's a couple of those out there on the market. Yeah. So,
and I ordered a 146 Lynx. That's what I have on order right now.
So,
which,
if someone wants to trade their 165 players for a Lynx, there you go.
I mean, I'm still interested in the Lynx. I think the Lynx is a good sled, and it would be rowdy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards going all Polaris, and Polaris, sponsor me, please.
Yeah,
I know you won't.
If you're listening,
it'd be nice,
please.
So that's pretty much all we got.
Yeah, and especially for our trips, that's why, I mean, that's one of those things why we are going primarily all Polaris too, is like when we're going clear to Canada, like we're going to take a full set of A-arms, if not 2 full sets.
Yeah.
We'll have a backup sled for each sled. Like if we have to push make parts work or whatever, like when you're that far away from home, or even if you're just like 2 hours away, if you have a spare sleds in there that you can rub parts off to make your one sled you want to ride that day work, then it's just that much better. If you got 2 different brands, sure, you're playing the game. You can advocate for each side, but like if you have 2 of the same, you can at least make something work out of that sled, I feel like. But then, you can also advocate for, if you have a BRP and a Polaris, but one's on a stop ride and you lose a fuel pump, then, oh, well, you still got your BRP, or if BRP has something wild happen, then you still got your Polaris. But
that's exactly why I got the reason why I got the Lynx last year, which is right there, was one, I wanted to try it and make content of it, because there was a lot of like speculation on that sled because no one had any experience on the turbo side of Lynx. And then the other thing is, like, my Polaris, it had no build date, it had no nothing. And so I was like, shoot, I don't want to put 2,500 miles on, or 3,500 miles on my old boost. So I wanted to get out of it while it was worth something and try something new. So that's why I got the Lynx, and I liked it, but I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, Polaris is saying that, we're going to have our sleds by that November 30th or whatever, but we're still, I mean, we're getting closer to it, and we're not seeing a ton of Polaris activity, but
I've seen quite a bit of Ski-Doo activity.
A lot of Ski-Doo activity. My little nephew just got a little Neo Plus, and it's already in and ready and dialed. You know, he's ready for winter. So
that's crazy. I've seen a lot of those teal, like mint colored free rides come in.
Oh yeah,
those are sweet, dude.
Those
I
are
do
awesome.
like that color.
That's a good
it's like
setup.
Your shirt.
Yeah, I like that. I'm a fan, as you can tell. On YouTube. So.
Yeah.
But
well, guys, again, this podcast will be on. If you're watching it on YouTube and you don't like watching on YouTube, it's on Spotify, Apple Music. If you're on Apple Music or Spotify, it's on YouTube. So watch it wherever you like to consume it.
Yes, and thank you guys. I'm back. I'm not going to go anywhere, hopefully, for a while. Hopefully, we'll be a little more prepared next year for when stuff gets busy for me.
Yeah.
But we probably won't. So thank you guys. I appreciate everything, all the support, and especially giving Brent the love while I was gone. But I'm glad to be back, and hope you guys found this a pretty good one. And if you'll do us a favor, share it with one person, or if you'll put it on your Instagram, we'd really appreciate it. So we're seeing you guys listening and following along. If you wouldn't mind giving us a little pat on the back, helping us share, we would appreciate that. That'd go a long ways. So thank you.
All right. Another episode of Let's Assess is in the books. Love you. Peace. We'll see you next time.
Out.